In a relentless world, only a rare breed of fighters gets the chance to turn back time. But seizing that opportunity is often even harder than earning it. Victors are unlikely to pass on glory in a sequel. Today, you're in for a cinematic journey through pivotal rematches, moments that allowed some to redeem themselves or cement their dominance in direct confrontations. Debuting in Bellator in 2011, future champion Douglas Lima was quickly on his way to the title after a 3-win streak, but he stumbled against Ben Askren, who mocked the Brazilian while squeezing him in the clinch. It took Lima 2 more years and 5 straight knockouts to claim the coveted gold. In his first title defense, Lima faced Andrey Koreshkov. In Bellator, the protege of Alexander Shlemenko, like the Brazilian, had only been humiliated once, by none other than Askren. Besides that setback in 2015, the Omsk native had an organizational record of 8 victories, with the cards often favoring him. However, the title bout against Lima turned into a wrestling heavy match, where Russian tactics unsurprisingly prevailed.
Look at that easy takedown.
A year later, after a highlight reel knockout, Lima got a second chance. Douglas was better prepared for the grappling, but once again, Lima found himself on the mat in the second round. A repeat of the first bout was avoided thanks to a series of precise low kicks from the Brazilian, forcing Koreshkov into an unmotivated exchange. But Lima had been waiting for this.
Any human being would be an out big shot.
Good shots. Good left hand.
Koreshkov is down. He's in trouble and it's over. It happened.
He sent the Russian to the canvas with his signature left hook, reclaiming the belt once more.
Champion Douglas.
Dan Henderson's star first rose long before mixed martial arts fully evolved into the modern sport we know today. However, even after a striking decade in MMA, Henderson still held the Pride titles when the promotion folded in 2007. Unable to adapt immediately to the UFC, Hendo returned to the world's top league in 2011 after a brief but successful stint in Strikeforce. His partner in a title shot was also a former Pride star, Mauricio "Shogun" Rua. Unlike Henderson, the Brazilian had already been an UFC champion, but after losing the belt to John Jones, he was hungry for revenge.
It's all over!
The clash of these Pride-era legends promised the fight of the century, and the veterans did not disappoint. From the first to the last second, their showdown embodied everything that makes MMA a great sport. Together, they turned the octagon into a bloody battlefield, earning Fight of the Night honors.
And now Shogun shot! Oh! Henderson!
In the end, Henderson won by judges' decision.
Hendo!
But for the next 2.5 years, he knew no victory, desperately needing a comeback. Hendo granted Rua a rematch, and once again, the legends delivered drama and an unexpected twist. Henderson was knocked down twice and was clearly losing, but with one unexpected strike, the fight turned on its head.
Oh! Huge right hand for Hendo! Dan Henderson has done it!
Hendo needed just one moment to unleash a hydrogen bomb, bringing the rivalry to a decisive end. In the late 1990s, Igor Vovchanchyn was rightly considered the most terrifying knockout artist the world of MMA had ever seen. Even a decade and a half after his retirement, little has changed. Today, the cold-blooded Ukrainian is remembered for his performances in the land of the rising sun. But often overshadowed is his phenomenal run in the mid-90s that marked the beginning of Vovchanchyn's path to true greatness. One of the most notable episodes in the cold-blooded fighter's career during those years was his 2-fight saga with Mark Kerr, a U.S. wrestling champion. Igor faced him in the finals of 2 8-man tournaments held consecutively at the end of 1997 and early 1998. The first fight in Israel was a true thriller, with Igor entering the cage right after a 35-minute semifinal. Vovchanchyn found himself on his back for most of the fight under a barrage of punches.
Igor Vovchanchyn, that's a vicious knee.
But after surviving this meat grinder, the cold-blooded fighter smashed Kerr's nasal septum with an elbow.
Elbow to the face by Vovchanchyn.
Then he forced Mark to surrender in the 25th minute with a series of headbutts from below.
That's it, people. Oh my God.
I cannot believe what I've just seen.
Kerr got his chance for revenge just 3 months later, this time in distant Brazil, where he faced Vovchanchyn again in the finals. Nick clearly planned to finish what he had started in the previous fight, but a sudden knee strike changed everything.
Knee protection there, and
Oh my God.
huge knee immediately.
Nutter charges.
This unexpected knee on the 14th second ended not only the fight, but also Kerr's MMA career.
Protection there, and
Oh my God.
For many years, Shogun Rua provided fans with thrilling moments in the ring and cage,
He's always like going and going, but now we see
and in the octagon. But the injuries that followed him kept him from an inevitable UFC title shot. His long-awaited title chance came only in 2009 against the then seemingly unbeatable Lyoto Machida. The unbeaten Brazilian Dragon was making his first title defense after 2 brutal knockouts and was the clear favorite against his compatriot. But the Muay Thai expert managed to throw the karate master off balance, consistently pressing forward and attacking the champion's body. In the eyes of many, Shogun Rua should have left the octagon as the champion.
And with that leg kick, Mike.
But the judges disagreed, sparking outrage among fans. The UFC immediately granted a rematch, which took place in May 2010. This time, Rua cracked the seemingly unsolvable puzzle of Machida's style, finishing him in the 4th minute with a devastating right hook.
Nice knee to the body.
The blow left the Dragon sprawled on the canvas as Shogun announced the arrival of a new ruler in the UFC's light heavyweight division. Today, not many people remember the long-forgotten yet intense feud between Tim Sylvia and Andrei Arlovski, but it's definitely worth revisiting. This storied rivalry began, interestingly enough, with Frank Mir, who delivered a brutal blow that gave Sylvia a titanium plate in his arm. After a serious motorcycle accident kept Mir out for 2 long years, Sylvia found himself facing the hard-hitting Arlovski for the interim title. Arlovski, who was riding high on a 3-fight knockout streak, boldly vowed to test Sylvia's chin. And it took him just 47 seconds to back up those words. Sylvia, rebounding from the unexpected defeat, found himself the underdog in a rematch against the twice-defended champion, Arlovski.
The belt is on the...
Despite a disastrous start, Sylvia showed his resilience, getting back on his feet where he was most dangerous. With the score tied, the fighters were given an immediate rematch, but fans hoping for another thrilling knockout were left disappointed. In a rather uneventful fight, Sylvia won by decision, putting the rivalry on hold until 2012.
and still.
Their final bout took place under the banner of Asian promotion 1FC, where Arlovski, trying to use a head kick, ended up losing due to complex rules. When Quinton Rampage Jackson first stepped into Pride's ring in the early 2000s, he immediately established a fearsome reputation with a thunderous slam. This raw power set the stage for his success in the sport, and his character stole hearts of many fans. Simultaneously with the ascent of the American, Wanderlei Silva, the reigning king of the light heavyweight division, was making history by dispatching both top fighters and hand-picked Japanese opponents alike. Rampage and the Axe Murderer first met in the 2003 Pride Grand Prix finals.
Here with us in Boston.
Fighting his second bout of the night, Wanderlei looked fresher than Jackson, landing a solid strike midway through the first round, and with a savage grin, moved in to finish the job.
He is. Wanderlei smiling at him, and that is it.
Their rematch was scheduled for Halloween 2004, with the Pride title on the line. Despite Rampage's intense preparation, Silva once again outmatched him, delivering a nearly identical finishing sequence in the second round to end the fight.
Oh my God! Vovchanchyn has been knocked out with a right knee to the head.
Silva's dominant victory did not mark the end of their feud. 4 years later, they met again, this time inside the UFC octagon. Silva entered as a former Pride champion, while Jackson had recently lost his UFC belt. The winner would get a chance to reboot their career and finally close the trilogy on their terms.
Rampage with a quick jab. Good left hand. Silva is out. It is all out.
The final chapter of their rivalry came in 2018 when the fighters cashed in for one last time under the Bellator banner, proving once again that time spares no one.
Jackson lands a jab. Right servers. It's on Rampage. Rampage evens the series.
In September 2014, only Irish fans could have predicted that Conor McGregor was about to change the sports world forever. At that time, his UFC record was just 3 wins with 2 knockouts. While his opponent, Dustin Poirier, was viewed as a stepping stone, albeit a dangerous one.
It's all over.
Known for his insane striking power, the American had nothing to offer the Irish sharpshooter from the start.
Here we go.
After a precise left hook caught Poirier off guard, Conor quickly ended the fight with a clinical finish.
Hands at his hips, having a conversation.
That's
It is all over, just like that.
Fans had to wait 7 long years for the rematch, during which much had changed. Having moved up in weight, Poirier had become one of the top technicians in the UFC lightweight division and had claimed the interim title. McGregor, meanwhile, had captured titles in 2 weight classes, cashed in on a boxing match, and even announced his retirement. So when Conor chose Poirier for his comeback, fans were already anticipating a bloody spectacle.
Well, he's going forward.
But after withstanding McGregor's initial onslaught, the Diamond figured out the Irishman's strategy.
Yeah, Conor level change. Yep, Conor to save his leg.
By mid-second round, Poirier chopped Conor's leg with sharp kicks, forcing him to stand still.
Punches.
No, man, you can't sit out here at this range and play with McGregor. Oh my God!
That's the ball.
After trapping him near the cage, Dustin unleashed a flurry of strikes that sent McGregor to the mat, finishing him off with a hammer fist.
Oh my God!
In April 2006, a super fight took place between the terror-inducing Pride light heavyweight Wanderlei Silva and the versatile kickboxer Mirko Cro Cop. For Cro Cop, it was only his 4th appearance under mixed martial arts rules and undoubtedly his most challenging. Early in the match, Wanderlei managed to take the fight to the ground and confidently worked in the stand-up. However, Cro Cop's ability to neutralize takedowns did not go unnoticed, nor did his kicks.
A real good strategy.
Ultimately, due to the rules, the bout was declared a draw, instilling confidence in the Croatian's future success. The next time Cro Cop was destined to meet Wanderlei was only 4 years later, during which both had gained fearsome reputations as the sport's top knockout artists. The rematch took place in the semifinals of the Pride 2006 Grand Prix, where both fighters advanced after brutal victories over Japanese opponents. Regardless of Silva's game plan at the time, it suffered a crushing fiasco. Krokop's total superiority led to a knockdown already in the second minute of the fight. The inevitable conclusion didn't take long. Krokop claimed the Knockout of the Year award and simultaneously put a halt to the Brazilian's further career. On the verge of a title rematch with Daniel Cormier in 2017, Jon Jones found himself in the unfamiliar role of a hungry contender. However, this didn't stop him from declaring that DC was nothing more than a paper champion with a fake belt.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
Jones backed his accusations with 8 successful title defenses and the fact that he lost his gold due to legal troubles and doping, but never in the ring. However, the 38-year-old Olympian, who had honestly won the belt against Anthony Rumble Johnson and defended it twice, had no desire this time to engage in petty squabbles. Daniel prepared to once and for all close the question of his championship legitimacy by breaking bones in the octagon. Adding fuel to the fire of hatred was the fact that the fighters had already met 2 years earlier, where a series of incidents outside the cage concluded with a confident victory for Jones.
And it got him down again at the end.
In the first 2 rounds of the rematch, Cormier convincingly demonstrated the seriousness of his intentions, pressuring and working his opponent on all levels. However, in the third 5-minute segment, Jones once again showcased his genius, fulfilling his 2-year-old prediction.
So don't think you're going to kick me in the head with your left leg.
Jones's grand return was once again marred by a doping scandal, nullifying the fight's result, but not its stunning brilliance. Meanwhile, the reinstated champion, Cormier, decided to try his luck in a series of title confrontations with Stipe Miocic. Despite the grand success in their first meeting, the rematch turned catastrophic once again. If there's an MMA fighter whose path can be called thorny, it's Michael Bisping. Time after time approaching the title, he invariably failed in contender bouts.
There it is again!
The scandalous Brit managed to draw the golden ticket only in 2016, when middleweight champion Luke Rockhold lost his opponent long before the tournament. The former Strikeforce belt holder had already faced Bisping 2 years earlier and didn't give the Count a chance, outstriking the Brit in stand-up and finishing him just as effortlessly on the ground.
Could this be sunk? Takes mount position.
Wow.
Back then, Michael became just another victim in Rockhold's title run.
That's it.
Therefore, in the rematch, the champion was universally expected to easily handle the perennial contender. However, Bisping never doubted his chances for a second and told anyone willing to listen that he was going to shock the world.
Here we go!
For 3 minutes, the Count patiently aimed his left hook at the head of the complacent champion. When Michael finally threw his Hail Mary punch, Rockhold had nothing to counter. Landing a fluke left hook, the Count seized the opportunity to become king and rushed to finish, not allowing Rockhold to recover. The Englishman drove him back to the canvas, repeatedly hammering away at the fence until the referee pulled him off, now as one of the most unexpected champions in sports history.